Hi, hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back. I am super excited about this episode because as I am sitting here talking, it is like the start of the holiday season. And I love the holiday season more than anything on the planet. Not because I don't get just as stressed out as you and all the stuff we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive in that today. But I just find it to be the best time of the year to actually get out of diet mode, to come into right relationship with food, where you find that middle ground and get to the end of the year and the end of the holiday season and going, "Oh my god, I didn't blow it. I didn't do what most Americans do, which is put somewhere between 5 and 20 pounds on every year at the end of the year, just in this, like, short period of time." And I also enjoyed the holiday season. I didn't overdo it, but I also feel really good about my choices and decisions. It is just such a great time of the year, but we're gonna talk about that today as to why that might not be your story up until now. So, today is called Handle the Holidays Like a Thriving Boss. I wanted to say like a thriving bitch, but some people don't love the word bitch the way that I love it. So, like a thriving boss, and we're going to dive into that in a real meaningful way today. Welcome. If you're new into my world, welcome. It is Hello Body Freedom all the way. We help you heal the deeper reasons why you would struggle with food and body in the first place. Now, if you are listening to this via any of the podcast apps, then you won't have the visual of me practically wearing a tank top right now. I am barefoot and I had to turn the AC off in order to make this podcast. I'm going to turn it right back on when we're finished. It's just too loud. And I'm saying all of this because like where I am living, where I am at right now, it does not feel like even the holiday season right now. It's like an 80-degree day. It's so epic. I've spent the day working outside almost the whole day. And so it's tricking me a little bit, but I know it's around the corner, and that's what we want to dive in and talk about today. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see it. And if you are on YouTube, just make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Or is that what you do? Yeah, you subscribe on YouTube. And then you can follow or subscribe on any of the podcasts. And clearly, I might be talking out of my ass. Whatever. You can catch it in either place, whatever works the best for you. All right. I'm just uber excited to dig into handling the holiday like a boss. Now, here's why we're having this conversation so early in the holiday season. Because whether we like it or not, whether we feel excited and happy, warm, fuzzy feelings all about the holidays, I have not met a human on this planet that does not feel major amounts of stress and nervous system overwhelm during this time of the year. The holiday season is tracked with higher levels of depression, higher levels of intense negative emotions, higher levels of drinking, higher levels of drugs, higher levels of all of these coping mechanisms. And of course, my world is Hello Body Freedom, where I help women heal their relationship with food. And so, yes, food is an absolute place to go to when your nervous system is overwhelmed. And the holiday season is just primed to create the outer environment that if you have not done the inner environment work, if you have not done this deeper work, then it can really trigger a challenging time. And so I just want to honor that. And so we can all just own this in a meaningful way, even if you just love the holidays or you have all the gooey feelings about it. I'm also guessing there are major stressors that happen in your life, in your body, memories that come back good and bad, like all the things that just create a bigger emotional experience. And what I have discovered with the thousands of clients I worked with, myself included, is that if we learned at any point in our life that these big, giant emotional experiences, whether they're positive or negative, if we never learned how to be with those feelings, to tolerate the experience of them in a way where we can handle them when they get bigger and exacerbated, like the holiday season, then we likely learned how to cope in some other way by eating, by drinking, by doing drugs, like whatever the thing is. And so I am here to help you this holiday season. This is another reason why I love it. I just want to help everybody. So let's go ahead and dive into I have 3 different pieces that I think can help you help this particular holiday season, and we're gonna take these 3 concepts, and then we're gonna break them down, okay? So, the very first concept we're gonna talk about is setting realistic expectations for the few weeks ahead or couple of months ahead. That's the first piece. We're gonna look at what that means to really change the mindset around your expectations. We're going to look at self care and stress reduction. And we are going to look at health and well being, although health and well being is definitely a part of self care and stress reduction, but we're just going to break these up a little bit for you. Okay. All right. Step number 1. I cannot believe how many people get totally sideswiped every year by thinking they can do all the things. And if they do all the things, they wonder why they're totally stressed out, hate their life, feel awful, wake up Christmas morning, hate like, hungover, feeling like shit, waking up on New Year's Day, going, what the hell just happened to me over the past few months? Whenever we can get to a place where we're setting realistic expectations, it will change everything. And so we have this idea in our head that we can send out all the Christmas cards and all the shopping and all of the gift wrapping and all of the cookie making, and every single person gets the gift. And we're going to go to here, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to go to this party, and this get together, and that get together. And then we're going to sign up for this nonprofit volunteer thing, and we're going to sign up for that one too. And it literally just like consumes us in a way where it feels like shit and just ultimately leads to stress. It leads to stress. It leads to disappointment. It leads to triggering your nervous system into those high levels of overwhelm that we were just talking about. All right. So, what can we do here to reframe? So, the very first thing is whatever picture perfect idea you have about the holiday season, you want to let that go and you want to see what can I let go of this holiday season? Like, what are some things? Because here's the thing, if you do all the things, like we all have a very specific amount of time in every single day. We have a very specific amount of time. The richest person and the poorest person, like we all have the same amount of time. Okay. This is about what do I need in terms of relaxation, spaciousness, not being so overscheduled, right? And looking at places where you can learn how to say no to different things and be okay with it. I remember the first time I made the decision to not send any Christmas cards because that was always the thing that I felt like I had to do. And I really wanted to do it. Oh my God, this is amazing. This will be fun. And I completely stopped doing that. I used to handwrite them out and lick a stamp on a trillion different cards. And then I moved to all these online things where you can just slap a picture, like upload an Excel spreadsheet of addresses and then hit a button, which is a whole lot faster. And quite frankly, over the last few years, I've just quit doing it completely and I'm really okay with it. It's fine by me. So that's just an example of if I have some idea of perfection that it's got to look like this and I have to do it this way, then it ain't going to work. Cooking all of your meals from scratch, that might be some of your jams. You might love doing that, right? But where else do you need to let go of certain things, right? So you get to decide what matters the most to me this holiday season. And then the other things, then just don't make that priority list. Being able to say, yes, sorry, we can't make that this year. Yes, oh, it sounds amazing. Thank you, but no, thank you. Very powerful. The other one that's attached to this is managing your social commitments, which we just talked about. How do you say yes to certain things? How do you say no to certain things in a way that's really in alignment with your values, in alignment to how you want to feel, right? How do you want to feel this holiday season? Like just tune in, take a deep inhale and an extra inhale, get extra sip of air in. And then as you exhale, just land in your body, land on your chair, land in the present moment. And if you can imagine, how do you want to feel this holiday season? Like, what is the experience? Not the story in your head, but the lived experience in your body most of the time. Do you want to feel really busy or do you want to feel spaciousness? Do you want to feel more of a relaxation response or do you want to feel more of a stress response? Like, tune in to the actual desire you want to have. And when you can get really clear with that, all the stuff I'm talking about becomes a lot easier. Okay. It becomes a lot easier to manage those social commitments. It also becomes a lot easier to let go of some idea of perfect. So, just back to this first part of setting realistic expectations for yourself, reframing the holidays, reframing what you think of as perfect or some idea that you think it has to be, letting go of that, managing social commitments, and then tuning in and really deciding, how do I want to feel? And letting that be your North Star over the next few weeks. All right. The next piece we have up and running is self care and stress reduction. So here's the deal, if we're moving into a holiday season, and this season is notorious for exacerbated emotions, high levels of whatever the emotions are that you would feel, right? Intensity in the body, whether it's lots of positive or lots of negative or a whole messy middle mix of all of it, right? Then we've got to do some things to really take care of ourselves. And what I want to talk about this, especially in terms of self care and and stress reduction. Self care, in my opinion, equals stress reduction. When we can do things for ourselves that feel in alignment, then it will feel better. We will be like, oh my gosh, stress level down. Even just the simple thing of doing what you say you're going to do. Wow. When you, especially if it's something that you're not that good at. So, like right now, inside of our Hello Body Freedom community with all of our clients, we are doing a challenge this November, and it is a meditation challenge. It is their like 10-minute short meditations. There's my absolute favorite app. Send me a DM. I'll send you the link to the app. They do like a 30-day free trial. It's amazing. But we're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. It's so good. It feels good. But let me tell you, already I have missed 2 days as of filming of as of recording this podcast. It is November 7th. And so that would have been 7 straight days, right? Because we're doing it every single day for 30 days. And I already missed 2 days. And I just was like, ah. And so that moment when I get so much clarity is I'm doing the thing I say I'm going to do. I'm figuring out how to get this into my life in order to make this happen. I'm setting the alarm. I'm putting it on the calendar. I'm getting held accountable, actually, by clients, actually. And it feels so good. So, really tuning in to that self care, that's real simple. But let's go ahead and give some like very practical ways that we can really work with self care in a way that does reduce stress. All right. Number one, and nobody likes hearing this, especially if you're a people pleaser, especially if you love the holidays and it's all about everybody else except you. It really matters that you prioritize your me time. Okay. This is really important. And that me time might just be like 30 minutes of quiet away from the kids. It might be a boundary around your sleep, right? It might be like you just getting to go for a walk, right? This is my time. It's blocked off. It is 30 minutes. Nobody can follow me. I'm going for a walk, like whatever it is. But prioritizing your me time in order to do whatever you want. It might just be to zone out. It might be to go for I already said like a walk, boundaries around sleep, but it could be absolutely anything. But when you can prioritize that, it's going to make you feel better. It's going to fill your cup up enough so it's going to be a lot easier to fill other people's cups up over the season. The other thing is actually practicing stress reduction techniques. So I love this one so much. The research came out of the Huberman Lab. It's a double inhale and an exhale. And y'all, I practice this mofo like every single day, multiple times a day. Anytime I start to feel any level of overwhelm or anxiety inside of my body, I take a big giant inhale and then another inhale on top of that, really get as much air as I can. Expand the lungs, and then I just let it go. I will do this multiple times because it is research back to show that it literally moves your autonomic nervous system out of that survival mode, that stress response, and closer toward, maybe not fully all the way, but definitely moving it out of that high level stress, moving it closer towards that relaxation response, that rest and digest part of your autonomic nervous system. So that is a great stress relief technique. Just a simple breathing exercise that you can do multiple times to help manage stress is a huge one. Okay. The other one, I think I also talked about it with managing social connections up top, but I think also just to reiterate the importance of this is understanding what a boundary is and learning why you need boundaries, learning what boundaries you need, and learning how to say no. This is my boundary. Thank you for this, but the answer is no. Oh, I'm so excited for that. It's going to be so fun for you, but I'm actually not going. I need to prioritize self care and stress reduction. And this just goes back to the beginning, reframing that perfect holiday. Sometimes what we need is to be able to put those boundaries in, to be able to say no, to be able to check ourselves. And I want to be really clear if we're going to be talking about boundaries for a second. If you are not good at setting boundaries, if you never learned from like healthy parenting, where that your parents set healthy boundaries, if you never learned that, then it's not going to feel normal. And in fact, it's going to feel like shit for sure. You're going to set a boundary. And then when the other person tries to go against the boundary, you're going to feel all icky. When you set a boundary and then you feel like you're disappointing that other person, you're going to feel all the feels. We did an entire episode on boundaries. You can go back and find that puppy. But I want you to really hear me is that the boundary is for you, it's for your own well-being, but it's also for the other people too. We're going to teach people how to treat us and how we want to show up on the planet, right? And that's what a boundary is. And you want to remember that icky feeling that you feel when you set a boundary. The only reason you feel it is because that is a learned feeling. It is not at all the finishing product of a boundary. I want you to really hear this. When you finally set a boundary and you feel all the feels, but you are able to process and regulate and go through and tolerate these feelings and get to the next step, what all of my clients who are able to do this and are practicing doing this, what they describe on the other side of that is feeling empowered and quite frankly, just feeling better in their life. They're actually finally showing up for themselves in a meaningful way. And quite frankly, like I said, a boundary is not just for you, it is for all the other people around you. When you are getting treated the way that you need to get treated and you are stepping up into your own life the way that feels the best for you by setting these boundaries around other people, I'm telling you, all the other people benefit too. They might not realize it at first, but it's really good for them too. And eventually, everybody wins. It is so powerful. Okay. So it is such an important self care tool to use, especially during the holidays, because we are around a lot of family or family of origin where most of our first traumas ever happen, first emotional, overwhelming experiences happen. They happen in those situations. So they can get triggered very easy. So you being able to put a boundary and for what you need, so powerful, so powerful. Okay. So for self-care, stress reduction, we talked about prioritizing you, prioritizing your me time. And then we also talked about stress reduction technique. We just gave a simple double inhale, exhale. I think everybody should be doing that like on the regular. I'm going to preach it like to the mountains. There's like trillion other body-based exercises that you can do. We do so much embodiment inside of Hello Body Freedom. But at the end of the day, it's the easy shit that's important to remember, especially when we're stressed out. A double inhale, exhale, eventually you won't even have to think about it. You will just feel a thing and you will just double inhale, exhale. And that's where we want the embodiment techniques to be. Okay. And then finally, boundaries and saying no. This is going to be amazing in terms of helping you reduce your stress. And again, remember, we're trying to reduce our stress so that way we don't get to that massive overwhelmed feeling where we end up using food to cope. Right. All right. The final part of this. So here we go. We talked about realistic expectations, right? Around the holidays, like really reframing what those expectations are for us. We've just gone into a little bit of self care and stress reduction. And the last part we want to talk about is health and well being. Now, I know that health and being are obviously connected to self care, but I felt like this needed its own little pocket of deliciousness. Okay. Your ability to focus on your health in a meaningful way is going to dramatically help you through this time. And I'm going to give this to you in a level that I think that very important. Three powerful tips here, and it requires tuning in over and over again and practicing it, like the self-care practice. All right, the very first thing that you can do to dramatically improve your health and thus decrease your stress response, therefore be able to handle all of what the holiday season throws at you, is get more sleep. Get more sleep. Get more sleep. It is, maybe you don't think it's sexy. The reason I think it's so sexy is because when I finally gave in to my self sabotaging bullshit and I got more sleep, I can't imagine life without it. Josh and I were just talking since the kids are both in college right now. Because when you've got like teenagers in the house, it's real hard. Like you want to hang out with them and they don't come home and then they don't come home till 10 or 11 and you miss them and you want to hang out. And the next thing you know, you're up too late. With them being away, it is both of us are like, we've been going to bed at 9 o'clock. we're like asleep by 9:30 and our eyes just are popping open between 5:30 and 6:30. And we're like having the best morning. We're drinking coffee, sitting out in the backyard. I'm like, oh my God, this is so delicious. And we're wide awake and we feel so good. And we're literally like, dude, this whole going to bed crazy early feels really good. Now, I know people who go to bed at 8, 8:30 because they like to start their day at 4:30-ish or so. I ain't there, and kudos to you. But if you think you're gonna start your day at 4:30 or 5 or 6 or 7, and you think it's going to bed at 11, 12, 1, 2 is normal, it's just you are stealing from your health bank. You are stealing from your thriving bank, right? And the way that you fix that is you make more sleep deposits. Everything works out better when you get more sleep. It makes everybody's life better. Oh, but I have too many kids. Your life, your kids' lives will be better when you get more sleep. Okay. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I want to be obviously when you've got like infants and toddlers in the house, that's a whole other ball game. I totally get that. And I also get there are seasons. That is a season. When you are in a season of toddlers, it is very difficult, which in my opinion means you must prioritize it even more. You should be having like a 10-hour sleep window because you know you're not going to really get 10 hours. You might get 7 if you gave yourself a 10-hour window. You know what I mean? Anyhow, just a thought. There are seasons where not getting sleep, and I don't mean holiday seasons, seasons of life. And so just tuning into that, realizing that this is very important and it will drastically change the trajectory of your holiday season if you can like really commit to making sleep priority. That's number one. Number 2, biggest health thing that I think could massively shift your holiday season is to move your body. And I don't want you to move your body because you're trying to lose weight, because you think you're gonna get tight abs, because you think you're gonna get like a Brazilian butt, all these crazy things that I used to be obsessed over in my 20s and 30s. When you move your body, it improves your mental health dramatically. When you move your body, it improves your energy dramatically. When you move your body, it improves your sleep and sleep quality dramatically. Moving your body can take you from, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed attitude to, wow, life's not so bad at all. I'm feeling cheery today. It is so powerful what moving your effing body does. Okay. So let's just talk a little bit about that. The number one easiest way to move your body is to simply move more. That means get up from your desk, take a walk. That means park in the back of a parking lot. That means take the stairs instead of the elevator. That means running errands. That means doing chores around the house. And if you forgot 3 things in the other room, don't get mad at yourself. Go, cool, I'm getting more steps in. I'm just going to go back in there and get it, right? Or reframing that whole situation. That is, I think, the easiest way. It doesn't require like tennis shoes. It doesn't require a sports bra. Doesn't require a special outfit. You can move your body more throughout the day by simply being mindful, setting alarms, having some sort of thing, whatever it might be, some trigger in order to move. And I think alarms are the best. That way, if alarm goes off, I'm going to get up, I'm going to take a loop around the office, building, whatever it might be, and then going right there. I know if I'm going to go grocery shopping, I'm going to park way down the road and I'm going to walk, right? These are ways to make it easier so you don't have to think about it so much. The other way, and I think that both are right. It's not like one is better. This is the way you have to do it. It's not that. Other people really thrive better if they have a very specific like space and time where this is my appointment to myself to go move my body. So if that means that every day at 6 a.m., I'm going to go for a walk for an hour, if that means I'm going to go to this workout class, if that means I'm going to pop on this YouTube video, if that means I'm going to go to the gym, if that means I'm going to go to a dance class, it doesn't really matter. But for some people, having that dedicated time in your schedule, and that also feels like just the juiciest self care, the juiciest, oh, look at me taking good care of myself. So that could be another beautiful way to move your body, right? There is no wrong way to do it. It is just to make it a priority, to really hold that commitment to yourself. Say you're going to do it and then do it and notice how good you feel. All right. So we've talked about sleep. We've also talked about move your body. My brain is a little tired all of a sudden. And so the last part about health that we're going to talk about, of course, is our food and our relationship with food. Okay. Why is this conversation so important? Because here's what happens in the holiday season. You either have somebody who's desperately trying to lose weight so that they end up going on these crazy diet plans, even during the holiday season. They end up depriving themselves during the holiday season. And I've done this before. I'm like, I literally can remember living in California, living in Los Gatos, and I remember being invited to holiday parties. And I remember being like, how do I do this? Okay. And then going to a holiday party, not eating or drinking anything because it wasn't on the plan. And it just felt like too much. It just didn't even feel like, where's the holiday joy in that? It just now for some people, easiest thing ever, good for you. Okay. But we have this one extreme where we're totally not allowing ourselves to go to parties. We're not allowing ourselves to enjoy like the traditions of the holidays. And then we have this whole other side of the pendulum, like this very black and white being, all or nothing way of being on this planet during this time of the year, which is fuck it all, start in January. And it's like game on. All of a sudden, it is like, it literally, if you can think about the last diet you went on, here's what happens. You're going on a diet, which means you're going to massively restrict. You're not going to eat all these things that you normally eat. I'm going to restrict, restrict. Okay. And the longer you restrict, what inevitably happens, what research shows all over the place, is that you will eventually overeat. When you massively undereat, you will swing that pendulum in the other way and you will massively overeat, right? And so to me, it almost is like that cycle of dieting shows up in the holiday season where we spend like a whole year of trying to be healthy, getting our shit together, da, 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 and then the holiday season is like, screw everything. Celebrate. Like we don't have enough celebration in our life. We don't have enough fun or play or pleasure or relaxation in our life as the whole season. And now it's a holiday season and it's all the food and all the booze and just like eating and drinking ourselves into oblivion. And then when we add to that the emotional intensity, we add to that the high levels of stress and nervous system dysregulation that happens this time of the year. And if we have a habit of just checking out and eating or checking out and drinking, we have ourselves a recipe for disaster, my friends. And so, what I want to offer you is what I teach is a very like normal way to be in relationship with food. All foods are allowed. There are no rules. Now, you might have food preferences, but we start to get away from food rules. You might have certain things you prefer, some things you don't, but like ultimately, what we are learning is coming into better relationship with body, coming into better relationship with hunger and enough, coming into better relationship with food at that level. But that is impossible to have that level of relationship with food where you can go to a party and not overdo it, where you can enjoy the whole holiday season and all of the traditions and the food traditions that are there and not overdo it and not blow it. That's really hard to do if we have a learned habit pattern and behavior of major emotional overwhelm, nervous system dysregulation, stress response activated. And then as soon as that happens, without even having prefrontal cortex conscious thought about it, boom, the food and the booze is in the mouth because that is what we've learned to soothe and cope. All right. This is what we specialize in here in Hello Body Freedom. And it's really important because it's like you could have the best month ever and your nervous system is totally regulated and you're on your weight loss journey and you're eating healthy and that's great. But if you haven't worked with your dysregulated nervous system, if you haven't actually figured out how to untangle all of these emotions that are connected to eating, that's the work, my friends. That's the work. And so, what I want to offer you, and if you are watching this live, you already know it because I have it scrolling down at the bottom of the page, which is the Holiday Survival Workshop. I hope everybody joins it. You can go to hellobodyfreedom.com, hellobodyfreedom.com. And when you go there, you will see a link right at the top of the page that says Holiday Survival Workshop. Click on it and sign up. This workshop is completely free. I actually charged money for it last year. This year, I'm like, we doing this for free, bitches. We're going to make this happen. And this is why, because I don't want you to wait until New Year's and feel like shit and then go on another diet only to be disappointed when you gain the weight back. I literally don't want you to do that. Okay. I don't want you waking up on New Year's feeling frustrated and upset. But guess what else? I also don't want you going through the holiday season and just completely blowing it either. right? I don't want you going to the holiday season going, woohoo, parties on, and doing what most Americans do, which is gain 5 to 20 pounds during this time of the year. So I want to actually teach you what I am really good at, which is working with our body, working with our nervous system, and working with our relationship with food. All right. So you are invited to join me in the holiday survival workshop. It is going to be live. It is on Sunday, November 19th. I'm really excited about this. I am going to just blow the top on this. It's going to be an experiential workshop. That means, yes, we are going to do practices together, easy, simple practice. Don't be scared. And all of these are embodiment practices. We're going to be doing journaling practices. We're going to really work together at the very beginning. And if you're in the US, this is before Thanksgiving, right? This is a Sunday before Thanksgiving. This is like prep time. Let's get our conscious mind and our unconscious mind and our stress levels on board. Let's learn how to work all of this together so that you can actually enjoy the holiday season without like worrying, oh my God, I'm going to eat too much. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to fit in my pants come January. No, we're going to let all of that go. So if you know that you want to enjoy your season and you want to feel good and you want to know what it's like to be able to eat the things that you enjoy, but also not gain the weight, but also find a middle ground where either you keep your weight the same or you even lose a few pounds as you go through this while enjoying all of the pieces of this, then you must be in my holiday survival workshop. I'm very, very excited to do this. Okay. Yeah, this is the idea. Like, I don't want you to sit here and think that focusing on health goals means that you're going to miss out on the season's fun and the season's food and traditions. And I also don't want you to get lost in the emotional intensity and overwhelm where we end up just eating ourselves to an oblivion. Okay. And this is what you are going to get with this workshop. I'm really excited about it. So please go to hellobodyfreedom.com, click at the link on the top. You'll see that it'll say Holiday Survival Workshop. Go join now. And I just want you to imagine like what your holiday season could really be like. What if you could confidently say yes and no and just the right amount, just the right timing to the food in front of you? It might be yes to your great aunt's fruit cake. It might be no to the great aunt's fruit cake. It might be yes to a kale salad. It might be no to a kale salad. Imagine confidently knowing that answer for yourself based on what is going on inside of you, your nervous system, and how you're doing. Imagine confidently saying yes and no to people, right? All the people who are shoving food in your pushing, I call them food pushers. Like, thank you, but no. Yes or no, you get to decide that. Imagine no more mindless eating or drinking. No more just, oh, it's a holiday, so I guess I'm just going to shove all this food in my face unconsciously. Imagine feeling the sense of mindfulness that feels good, right? It doesn't feel like deprivation. It doesn't feel like white knuckling. It feels good. Imagine feeling like de-stressed instead of stressed. Imagine feeling like major levels of peace, my friends. Like this is what is waiting for you. This is what is waiting for you. I want everybody to wake up on New Year's Day and not sit here in dread thinking, oh my God, I have to go on a diet right now. That is what I want for you for the holiday season. Okay. And so if you are already a client, you do not need to sign up for this. You guys already have access to this. We're going to give you all the information on the inside. You'll get all the, yeah, you're good. You can go check it out if you want to, but you don't need to sign up for it. Okay. You're in if you are already a client. Okay. If you are not a client, if you are not a paying client in Hello Body Freedom, then go to hellobodyfreedom.com. Find the Holiday Survival Workshop. It's right on top. Register for free. The only way you're going to get the replays is if you register. So even if you can't make it live, like you're not going to get the actual workshop unless you sign up, unless you actually register for it. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope, yes, I'm super excited. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. It's going to be amazing. I'm stoked about this holiday season. And I hope that you got a lot of juicy stuff out of this podcast, a whole lot of ideas, a lot of understanding about what we can do to regulate our nervous system to get us out of that fight and flight space, especially during a time of the year when, quite frankly, emotions run high and can be very intense for a lot of us. All right. Ah, so much love to you. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.